Welcome to the first week of 2023. I'm going to share 5 activities with you so that you can start your new year off strong. Activity number 1 is to write down your target. Before I open my laptop in the mornings in my software sales job as a senior account executive, I pull out my legal pad, I pull out my pen, and I write down my target. The way I figure out my target is I ask myself, what is my quota? What number does the company expect me to hit? Next, what number do I need to hit in order to promote to the next level? So if you're a sales development rep like I was for 2 years, I really wanted to get to account executive. So I needed to really understand what monthly pipeline target, what monthly meeting target do I need to hit in order to promote? As an account executive today, I desperately want to get to an enterprise account executive position. So I'm aware of my quota, but oftentimes in order to promote, there's a higher up number you need to hit. So ask yourself, should you be working to reach your quota or your potential? And then where does that promotion target fit in the mix? Once you figure out that number, whether it's closing revenue, $300,000 a quarter like mine, maybe it's setting 15 meetings a week and the company says, hey, we want you to set 10, and you're like, I'm gonna set 20. Write down your target every single day so that you're very clear on what the outcome of your actions that you execute upon daily will result in. Stick around until the end of the video for a bonus cold calling tip to set more meetings on the phone. Activity number 2 is to go through your calendar and write down what are all the meetings you have scheduled. I'm sure many of you were busy prospecting in November, December, and they said, hey, I don't want to meet with you now. I don't want to start a new sales cycle with you, but I am open to hearing what you have to say in the new year. So I'm sure you set up a ton of tentative meetings that probably do not have accepted invites today. So go through your calendar, make a list of what company are you supposed to meet with, who is the contact of that company, what is the date of that meeting, and most importantly, have they accepted the calendar invite? Yes, no. If they have not accepted the calendar invite, top priority needs to be emailing them, cold calling them and saying, hey, we spoke on this date, you agreed to a meeting, this is what we're gonna meet about, here's the agenda, let me know if that doesn't work for you. And if they have accepted the meeting invite, don't just take that at face value and assume they're gonna be there. Still reach out to them, say, welcome to the new year, we look forward to meeting with you on this date. I'm sure so many of you have a lot of meetings booked for January, so make sure to really tighten those up so that you expect them to show up. This will increase your show rate and your opportunity conversion rate. Activity number 3 is especially relevant to those account executives out there like me, pipeline hygiene. If your quarterly quota is $200,000 in closed revenue, you need at least 4x pipeline coverage, meaning if your quarterly quota is $200,000 in revenue, you need $800,000 in total pipeline coverage. So calculate what is your coverage ratio today, and then go through all of those existing opportunities and ask yourself and look at it and say, do I have a scheduled next event? When was the last time I met with them? When is the next time I'm meeting with them? And what is my objective for that meeting? And if you have open opportunities and you don't have accepted scheduled next events, that's a serious problem and poses a major risk. So reach out to those customers, re-engage with them, warm them up, make them feel special, and get those sales cycles moving, because you have the opportunity to build that urgency earlier in the year so that you can pull that revenue forward. Activity number 4 is to identify who are all of the customer renewals in the next 90 days. If you're a sales development rep, pull a list of your account executives' book of business, identify all of their customers and all of the customers with renewals in the next 90 days. This is the lowest hanging fruit. It's an easy meeting to set up. Hey, your license is scheduled to renew on this date. Let's set up a meeting to talk about your top priorities in the new year and how we can best support your program goals. Here's my availability. What works best with you? The customers will absolutely agree to the meeting because maybe they don't plan to renew, but maybe they've loved the service to that point and you have the opportunity to upgrade them. And this is quick and easy revenue, some of the easiest that you'll come by. So make sure to start with those customers with your prospecting efforts. And then the next category of low-hanging fruit, this is sales activity number 5, is to go through all of the lost opportunities. So prospects, customers that have spoken with your company in the past, maybe it was another rep, maybe it was you, they've worked a sales cycle before, maybe the first meeting converted to a demo and they didn't like the demo, so they said, hey, not right now, we don't have budget, we went with a competitor, it's just not the right time, hey, call me back in 6 months. That is low-hanging fruit because they were interested at one point or another. So now is the time to re-engage with them, because these last 2-3 weeks that have went by, many of them have not been prospected into, and they've forgotten about why they didn't want to meet with you or continue the conversation. So re-engage with all of them. It's a very simple conversation. Hey, we spoke about this in the past. I'm sure you have new updates. We have new updates. Let's set up a meeting to talk about how we can best support your goals in the new year. The bonus cold calling strategy, and this is a report that you can run in your CRM and something that I like to look at, live conversations. So folks that have been cold called that may have resulted in an initial meeting set, folks that may have been cold called that just completely said no or body bagged you or hung up on. Bottom line, folks that have spoken with somebody at your company in the past, call them and say, hey, we spoke last year, you said not a good time, but you would be open to a meeting in the new year. You don't want to completely lie or make up an excuse, but you can artificially warm up the conversation and call them and say, hey, Susie, this is Trent from insert company name. How have you been? Hey, you spoke with John last year in regards to improving employee engagement. You mentioned that if we call you back in the new year, you may be open to setting up a meeting to learn more, to talk about what's top of mind for you and how we can best support you in the new year. How about next Tuesday for a brief introductory meeting? If you're interested in my exact B2B cold calling strategy and script, click on the first link in the description below, and I put together an entire guide for you, including live cold call role plays so that you can hear my actual cold call script in practice. I'm excited for you guys. 2023 is going to be a record year. Let's make it great. Subscribe now if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you in the next video.